Larissa Ramirez. We're all tired of endless political ads, but there's one more that I want you to watch, and it's this one. Because I'm running for League City Council in a runoff December 6th. I'm a mother of two, a construction manager, and disaster relief expert. I believe in lower taxes, smart development, and more police on our streets and in our neighborhoods. I'm Larissa Ramirez, and I'm asking for your vote one more time this December 6th.
Wow, what a great commercial. She is now the star in League City, running for city council, and she's in the runoff in December 6th.
Top vote getter. She got the most votes of all the three candidates. Yeah.
And not only that, also she's one of her opponents is supporting her,
Yes.
and the mayor of League City is supporting her. So
along with Congresswoman Mayra Flores, along
Yeah.
with former Congresswoman Shelley Sakula Gibbs, along with City Councilman Mike Knox, along with
Texas Latino Conservatives.
Texas Latino Conservatives, Hispanic Republicans of Texas, and there are more to come. Also, and Michelle Gamboa endorsed her, the Longview City Councilwoman. So there's a long list of endorsements. All you have to do is visit www.larissaramirez.com, larissaramirez.com, to see all of the great endorsements. Oh, and her former employer, former Texas Senator and former Land Commissioner Jerry Patterson has endorsed her. So,
Wow.
She's got a long list of good public servants in Texas that have endorsed Larissa Ramirez for the runoff position 7 on the League City Council, which is slated for December the 6th. And I think early voting starts next week in League City. So we're excited about her candidacy. It's her first time to ever be a candidate for public office, and she's going to do an awesome job. Mother of two, construction management expert, former disaster relief employee at the Texas Office of Land Commissioner, and now candidate for League City Council. So, Larissa, welcome to the program.
Hi guys, thanks for having me on.
Larissa, bienvenida. It's been a week after the elections. Many things happened during the elections. Some things it was like we were expecting. Some things it was like it was a surprise for us or for everybody. But something that I guess it was a surprise for you and for everybody, it was that you were for the runoff. I mean, you started your campaign like few weeks before. Everything happened so fast, and now not only going for the runoff, but having the support of all of these important, not only people in office, but candidates and TLC and everybody supporting you. So kudos to you, and tell me or tell us and tell the viewers, how do you feel about it? And we have just a short period to campaign for December 6th.
So it's going to be a tough one. There's a really good candidate that I'm up against and who has also worked extremely hard. But I'm excited. I'm excited that it was surprising to a lot of people. And I believe that it was surprising to a lot of people because what we, in the mix of everything with politics and election time, we forget about our roots, which is the grassroots of it all. And that's basically how I had my campaign, or how I started my campaign, donation here, friends, family, neighbors, $50 here, $100 here, gathering it up and saying, how many signs can this buy me? Oh, okay, can get me 10 big signs? Okay, let's get those. Let's get them out. How many yard signs can this buy me? My campaign was solely grassroots. I didn't pay anybody to put my signs out. It was me and my 8-year-old daughter and my husband putting signs out, fixing the signs. And so I think oftentimes we get so caught up in everything else that we forget about our roots, that we forget about the simple things and our grassroots campaign and how we came to be as Republican people.
So this is your first time to launch for public office. First of all, what inspired you to serve the citizens of League City?
Who else was going to do it? So I had several different council members that are moving on to other endeavors and to help serve our community, our county, our state. And And at that point, I have the qualifications. I speak the language of disaster recovery, flood mitigation. I'm a mother of two, so safety is one of the main reasons why I moved out to the suburbs, and to be able to hold those values. And in my eyes, I thought, well, what am I doing sitting here? Let's get up. Let's do this, and let's go ahead and make sure that we continue to be a safe community, that we continue to stay dry, and make all these efforts to just live and keep our community beautiful, safe, and and just overall, like I said, resilient against any storms.
So, League City, as everyone knows, is between Galveston, Texas, and Houston, Texas, right along the 45 Interstate 45 corridor. And it's a great community. I've spent some time over there. But your city is located half in, a portion of it in Harris County and another portion in Galveston County. Is that correct, Larissa?
That is correct. So we
Yep.
have two counties in our city.
Right. So, one other question I want to ask you. What what do you tell young conservatives that are thinking about across Texas launching a bid for their local city council, their local commissioner's court, any position locally? Is your experience been a positive one? Do you encourage young conservatives across Texas to go ahead and just do it?
We have to step up. It is our responsibility to step up, for us, for our generation, for our children, for our grandchildren, for our parents that are hitting retirement. It is our responsibility to step up as a generation, because I honestly feel that in this, this generation and generations to come, social media is making a huge impact on how we decide things from day-to-day life to politics. And we have to be able to think for ourselves and be able to instill those values for our families and our communities. So if you're thinking about it, step up. Is it going to be easy? No, but in our generation, we're not used to anything being easy. So step up and just take the leap and go with it.
Good. All right. So yesterday we had an opportunity. This at the top of the program, you saw a commercial that we produced for Larissa yesterday. But one of the, and I'm going to let Larissa talk about her endorsements, but it's my understanding that the current sitting mayor of League City is either endorsing you or has talked to you about endorsing you. But I also had the great pleasure to meet another great candidate that lent herself out to be a public servant. And as you know, and I know because I've run many races and lost, it's never fun to be on the short end. God knows I've done it enough. But I salute people that put their names out there and then not only walk away maybe sore losers, but double down and get back involved. And Ange Mertens is one of those community leaders. Tell us a little bit about Angie. She is a resident of League City, was one of your opponents, but she's back in the hunt. Tell us how that happened and what's Angie doing. And I think she may be on. Mark, is she on? Not yet, but she'll be on in a few minutes. So tell us how that relationship developed. Who is Ange Mertens and what is she doing now?
So Angie Mertens has been involved in our community for many, many years, from trekking the floods to serving meals, to helping organize Holiday in the Park, which is one of the hugest events of the year for our community, and it's free. She has devoted her time and her heart to the city of League City, and so to have her endorsement and support is is invaluable in my opinion. She knows the city like the back of her hand, and we made that relationship pretty early on. We were the two women that were running for the seat. There hasn't been any woman in, or there not hasn't. I take that back. There has been women in council, but our current council is a council of men, and so. One of the things that we both agreed upon is, hey, it would be nice to have that woman's touch in council, just because of our life experiences that we've gone through. And so right pretty early on, we made that connection, and we made that friendly friendly agreement that, hey, we're not going to sit here and slander each other's names. We're going to take the high road and we're going to support each other and what we can do. And ultimately, the people are going to vote, and the people are going to decide on what they want to decide on who the best candidate is. So I'm proud to say that through the election time, we helped each other. We picked each other's signs up. When one had to go into the ladies' room, the other one was handing out cards for the other, and we're opponents.
Wow. You know what I
But
love, Larissa? It's not only that another candidate is supporting you, but it's the fact that she is a woman. And I mean, we know that women normally don't support each other in many ways, especially when they're competing about something. And in this case, I admire her. It says a lot about herself, and that's really good, and that's gonna make a good team for you guys, and stronger in the community, and help better and serve better the community.
I agree, Andrea. I agree that being able to have that relationship set with folks who are involved in the community, she's on our Parks and Recs board, and being able to work collectively, that's a part of being on your city council. It's not just that one person. It's not just me or one person. It's a board of people who are collectively making decisions that are in the city's best interest and working with current staff, police officers, and our boards because we all have the same goal in mind.
That's exactly what I was coming, like, you guys are doing it for the right thing. You guys are doing it, and I can tell, for the community, and that's showing because you guys are supporting each other. And when you guys are supporting each other, it's not just, I'm looking for a job. No, you're looking for the best interest of the community, and that is showing just for Angie supporting you and showing the support, and also now the mayor. That's amazing. This is, I mean, this is like good news for everybody. Good news for you. Good news for the community. Good news for TLC. That an early, like couple of weeks ago, you were talking to Orlando, and in a matter of a day, you guys put together this campaign.
Orlando and Texas Latino Conservatives have been amazing at providing that support. And when I say it's not easy, we're all human, and so oftentimes you feel, oh my gosh, am I not doing a good job? Am I not working hard enough? I'm feeling a little defeated. And to be able to have those people in your corner to say, push on, Larissa. Focus on your race. You got this, and to believe in you. It's something that's not very common, and it's invaluable. And so I'm forever grateful to Texas Latino Conservatives, to the voters who were out there, to the ones that messaged me and said, Larissa, we're in your corner, and to everybody, because if it weren't for everybody who had my back and were able to say, we're here in your corner, you can't waver, I feel like I wouldn't be in this runoff today.
Well, I want to congratulate you again for, you're a mom, you're a businesswoman, and you've decided to put your name out there. So congratulations to you. I want to congratulate the mayor of League City, Pat Hallisey, is it? Am I saying that correctly? I think that's leadership, that a sitting mayor of a city jumps in and says, this is the candidate I think our community needs. So Mayor Hallisey, congratulations for taking a role in leadership. And then to Ange Mertens, who was a former candidate for position 7 in League City, who's also a full-time flight attendant for Southwest Airlines, has been for many years, recently married to a Southwest pilot. So congratulations, Angie, for stepping up and helping Larissa Ramirez in League City. League City is a vibrant, sort of suburban, growing community. It's a wonderful community. I've had a chance to drive through it. I've had a chance to meet some of the folks out there. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen on December 6th. So, Larissa, congratulations. Keep working hard. Keep working on those endorsements. Make sure that you let us know of those endorsements. We're going to be monitoring your website. Keep asking for those dollars. Keep asking for $5. Keep asking for, is that Angie?
Yeah, that's Angie.
So look, Angie has clicked on, we've got Lance Tarrance sort of on the back burner. Lance can hear me. Lance, if you'll just stand by for a few seconds, we're going to get to you because we're going to talk about important issues. But Mark, is Angie ready to come on? Angie, there she is. Look at that beautiful face. Thank you for coming on the program. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you. Good to have you, or have you have me.
Yeah, we're excited.
No, we're
So,
so excited about you being on the program and supporting Larissa now.
yeah, we were just talking to Larissa,
Thank
and
you.
she was telling us, how the relationship developed during the campaign. But as I was just saying, I wanted to congratulate both you and Mayor Pat Hallisay for stepping up and telling the community what you think is a good choice for the community. So, again, in your own words, Angie, tell us why you think Larissa should be the next City Councilwoman, position 7 in League City.
Well, one thing I'm really excited about Larissa's youth and excitement about being a part of her community, and anyone that stands up at her age to start being a part of society is so fabulous. She's smart, she's educated in this community, and we need a woman on city council. That's not a reason to vote for her, but that's a fabulous thing that we need. We have 8 positions on city council, and for 8 years we have not had a woman.
Well, let me ask you, Angie, how long have you been a resident? And before you came on, I sort of went a little bit over your resume as your dedication to serving the flying public, and that we congratulated you on your nuptial. Just what you say last month during the campaign to a captain. I'm
Absolutely,
assuming
yeah.
that's a Southwest Airlines pilot. So we're really happy for you. But how long have you lived in League City? And again, what are some of the needs you think that you talked about during your campaign that Larissa might be able to help out with?
Well, I've been a resident of League City for 21 years. I grew up in Clear Lake, just down the road, so I've been here since I was 8 years old. Um, League City has a lot of the needs that all of Houston has with our flooding infrastructure needs. We were horribly hit by Hurricane Harvey. And I think that's one of the great things that Larissa's knowledge of disaster recovery will help us with. Um, so flooding is a huge issue down here. We have some horrible road situations. Traffic is one of our worst problems down here. So that's one issue that she's going to be able to help the city with as well. Um, I think that one thing that's also really exciting about League City is we're a city with a lot of history, and we have a downtown area with a lot of historic charm that people love about League City. We have an entire oak tree lined main street that is really beautiful, and that's how people associate League City. But I think that one of the things I said earlier is her youth and knowledge and excitement is that we need to bring our city into the future with everything that we bring, having futuristic goals with traffic and flooding and infrastructure and huge growth. We have 40% of our city that's still undeveloped. And so there's a lot of growth that we need to think of in a very futuristic way. And so I think that that's what's going to be exciting. With Larissa would have a long time that she can serve the community.
Well,
Real quick, and then I'm going to let Andrea, and then we're going to move over to Lance Tarrance. You got an event coming up. I think it's called Christmas in the Park, and you're chairing that
Holiday.
holiday in the park. So tell us a little bit about that. The date. How do people attend? Do you have to buy tickets? Is it free? Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, it's a 3-day free event that has 3 parades: a children's parade on Saturday morning, December the 3rd, and the Grand Night Parade is our 25th anniversary this year, and the theme is bringing magic to Main Street for 25 years. And then there's a pet parade on Sunday afternoon. All 3 days has vendors, the second, third, and fourth. It is a free event, and people just need to come and attend. We'd hope everybody would come out to the parade and join us. The roads close at 5:30 on the 3rd, and the parade starts at 6.
Awesome.
Well, Angie, kudos to you supporting another woman. And you were saying we need a woman over there. So, how do we motivate
Absolutely.
the women in League City and what we can tell them to support this runoff? Because sometimes people don't pay attention to the runoff elections. And this is very important for the community. So, what we can tell not only the community in League City, but also the women supporting women.
Well, exactly. Most people don't know about their local elections anyway. It's hard to get the word out. So I think that just all of us sharing on our social media, sharing with our friendships, that we need to get out and vote, first of all. And we have an opportunity to vote for a strong, smart woman is an extra special thing. So I think that just everybody getting out on their social media, sharing in their women's organizations, and just in any organization in general would be helpful.
Awesome. Okay, well, Angie, thank you very much. Larissa, thank you very much. Godspeed to you guys. Good luck. And let me just say, this is an example of what makes America truly a unique place. Here you have two career women that have taken the time not only to lend themselves out as candidates for League City Council, but also work full time, raise a family, is a flight attendant, because Angie probably has a schedule where she's flying several days of the week, and she still manages to come home, run for city council, organize and chair a holiday in the park in League City, which serves the entire community. It's just dynamic to see the energy that these women have. So I salute both of you. I thank you for taking time out to be on the program with us. And again, let us know what we can do between now and December 6th to make sure that Larissa Ramirez becomes the next city councilwoman, position 7 in League City. Thank you guys very much.
Larissa, call to
Thank you.
action. How do we can
Thank
help
you.
you?
Orlando,
Your website, how we can
Andrea,
find you.
Hang on just a minute. Go ahead, Angie.
sorry, I forgot to add, I wanted to add to Holiday in the Park that this year we have Edward Wright, who is a Spanish horseman that is going to be our Grand Marshal this year. And he has his dancing horses that are Spanish horses that are beautiful. And we also have Ballet Folklorico. So they're going to be leading off our parade this year. So I just
I
wanted
think
to
they
add
call
Caballos de
those
Paso Fino se llaman.
Andalu-
Caballos Paso Fino.
Yeah, but they're called caballos Andalusian, I believe.
Pero la forma como ellos
Right,
cabalgan son
Yeah.
Paso Fino.
All right, excellent. We got it, Angie. Thank you both. God bless. Take care and keep up the good work.
Thanks for having us on.
Bye-bye. All right, we're going to switch over now. We're going to go to Austin, Texas to visit one of our dear friends and somebody that has been part of Texas Latino Conservatives before Texas Latino Conservatives was a Texas Political Action Committee, because I remember sitting down with my dear friend Lance Tarrance and sort of on a napkin over lunch, kind of strategizing about what Texas Latino Conservatives was going to be, what was our strategy, who were we going to go after, what kind of an impact we'd make in the community. And frankly, he is the godfather of polling.
You're talking about a napkin. That's how Southwest Airlines started, in a napkin.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that started.
It started in a
napkins.
napkin.
So is he back on? Yeah. Okay. And so Lance is, but this is a man that's been polling American politics. I think way back to the pre-Barry Goldwater days, and I've known Lance for more than 25, maybe 30 years here in Texas, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that he has served as a mentor, an inspiration to me personally and my political career, but also now serves as the director of polling for Texas Latino Conservatives. So, Lance, welcome to the program. I know that you were chairing a meeting up in Austin, and you've rushed home to be on the program. So thanks for being with us.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm amazed I got on. All right, here I am. No, there's a series of men's Republican clubs in the country called the Pachyderm Clubs, and they have started one up here west of Austin, and they asked me to start it. So I had to finish our meeting and get here. But I'm happy to discuss the election. You mentioned believe it or not, it's been a full week since the last election, but it seems like it was yesterday. But some very amazing things happened last week. We're still dissecting the returns, as you know, and the U.S. House apparently achieved the magic 218 today. So the Republicans do control the House of Representatives. And of course, the Senate is down to one vote or no vote, depending on the runoff in Georgia. So the thing that I think has bothered most people is everybody thought it would be some kind of a reaction to the cost of living and inflation and the normal historically check on the incumbent as we do every 2 years. And it turned out to be kind of a split decision. This was a boxing match, championship boxing match. The champion and the top competitor to him fought, let's say, 12 rounds, and it became a draw, in effect. Republicans won the House, Democrats won the Senate, but not what people expected because they got involved with being in front of the numbers rather than looking at the numbers per se. When I say in front of the numbers, people started saying this is going to be a big win because of the low job approval of the president, et cetera, but they didn't look at the numbers hard enough. And I do have some NBC polls we'll share in a minute showing that it never was a red wave. It was always going to be closely competed. In fact, the results show that. So with that, I'll introduce myself that way and turn it over to you, Orlando, and you all what you'd like to hear today.
Well, first of all, you're going to love Lance's analogies. Either it's a sports analogy or it's a military analogy. And so, he just brought in boxing. This is the first time I've heard boxing. I've heard football games, baseball games. Hopefully you'll bring in some bull riding and some rodeos, but nonetheless. Okay, here's what, before we get into the national politics, as you know, because you and I met many years ago before Texas Latino Conservatives was conceived, we talked about the Hispanic vote, where it was going, what sort of influence it would have in the state of Texas, and how we as conservatives could ensure that we would channel voters in the Latino community to support conservative causes. So the question I have for you is, I know there's a lot of people that are disappointed that Dallas didn't go our way and Harris County didn't go our way and Bexar County didn't go our way, but we knew that going in, right, Lance? And so I want you to talk to the viewers and our contributors and donors that are watching. What are the trends in Texas with respect to the Hispanic community? What were the positives that you saw?
Well, there are actually quite a few. If we can kind of get beyond the headlines of who won the Senate and who won the House, but in the state of Texas, when you have a governor become reelected, particularly a third term, it's a pretty big deal. It's hard to get automatically. We know there's been a two-term tradition in most of American politics, starting with George Washington. So this was not a slam dunk, but Abbott, by focusing on the Hispanic vote, focusing especially on the South Texas crucible that's basically going to dictate the politics for Texas, I think, for the next 2 or 3 generations, how this comes out in South Texas, was quite a feat. He won by upwards toward 1 million votes. That's not chicken feed, as they say. And secondly, we kept our congressional seat in South Texas. I looked at some of the numbers of the counties, like Cameron County. I was born in Harlingen myself a long time ago, and Cameron County went from 37% 4 years ago for Cruz to 45% for Abbott. That's a +8. But counties like Webb County were +10. And then we had other counties like Starr County that was plus, I think it was 18 or something. Yes, 18 in Starr and 16 in Zapata. And good old Hidalgo County, now on +10. So these are big jumps in terms of voting behavior that you can't deny.
And we flipped Valverde County, right?
I guess so. Yes, I didn't have that on my list, but that's probably right. But what we've done here is change the fundamentals of the game. Now, when you put in new rules into some sports competition or any other competition, it changes the way you do your offense and your defense. So the rules are changing because the Hispanic vote not only is becoming, you might say, happy with their position now in the state, but they're becoming pivotal. And the Republicans have won thanks to a populist conservative trend against, you might say, the bigness of federal government and a lot of other things that have been going on, you might say, internationally. The state of Texas has decided to go from this populist kind of conservative to now a more coalition with Hispanics, and we've had 166 consecutive statewide public offices that have been carried by the Republican Party. Now that's a lot of consecutive wins across the state of Texas. You can't deny that. And the Democrats, of course, nationally are trying to turn this over because they've got New York, they've got California. If they can get Texas, the so-called left of center, if not leftist political philosophy, will take over the country. They will have the votes. So the Texas being pivotal and you might say the balance of power in the country is terrifically important. And Abbott was able to get about 40% or more of the Hispanic vote. We picked up another state rep. We've got these platforms now in South Texas that we can launch more efforts into. The Republican National Committee has put a permanent office down there, and I could go on and on. So, it used to be the so-called Rio Grande Valley was I guess you'd say, the gateway to the rest of the Americas. And of course, in the last few years with the open border, it's become a gateway into America. Well, guess who got caught in the middle of that crossfire? And that was the people that live in South Texas, mostly Hispanic, and they've decided that the border security is more important than anything else, keeping our jobs here, and they've been turning Republican based on more of a family driver, that is a driver of faith, family, and freedom that fits very well with particularly the married Hispanic family. So that's where the pivotal changes are coming from.
You mentioned that we picked up some seats, but let me remind everybody that we also we did pick up an additional state representative seat. We preserved Tony Gonzalez to the U.S. Congress. We narrowly lost Myra Flores. She outperformed the district matrix, which was a plus 14, plus 13 Democrat, but we picked up Monica de la Cruz. And so, we're making tremendous gains down in South Texas, which is pretty amazing.
Well, keep in mind, you make a good point. You've got to have a platform to work from. You just can't swim in and swim out without having some kind of a connection to the geopolitical area. As I said, the Democrats have not won a statewide race, which means every time they want to run statewide against a governor, a senator, or attorney general, or whatever, they don't have an office to work out of. They've got to literally rent something somewhere to be able to campaign. In a kind of a euphemism, they have to rent a trailer to campaign on in Texas because they don't own anything else. Well, the same thing's working now in South Texas. We're getting these nice fundamental platforms that we can launch more inroads into other state rep districts, get involved more in the local elections. And so the trend is very up. This was pivotal across the country. The United States was looking at South Texas. The U.S. media was looking at the South Texas. Every Hispanic, maybe in this part of the earth, was looking at what happened. And yes, we didn't win all three congressional districts, which was quite a feat if it occurred. But we did do well in the other two. They'll be on the top of the ticket, you might say, in the next election, which is coming up very soon. And the congressional win is a big win. And the idea that we've improved our actual vote tallies at the statewide level in South Texas measurably is now a strong first.
And don't forget, we need to mention that John Lujan was also reelected, which, as you know, for the first time, we have a Republican in House District 118 in South Bexar County, which has traditionally gone Democrat. So there is extremely good news. And so we're proud to have played a role in to some extent in all these counties because we have been in touch with the candidates down in Maverick County and Cameron County and Hidalgo County and Valverde County. We've gone to Uvalde County, Starr County. I can't mention them. We've been all over the place, and so we're excited about the trends. Go ahead, Andrea.
Lance, the polls were saying around the country, and they were talking about the red tsunami, and we're going to have a red tsunami. And then ended up not being like that, but we saw that all the races were pretty close. What happened and what was the topic that you think it was the final decision for many of the Latinos or many people that because many people vote for a candidate, don't necessarily for the party. What was the topic that you think it was the final decision and what we need to work from now on, not only in TLC, but as a community and with the Hispanic community to open the people's eyes to vote their values?
Well, that's a big question, and it's obviously multifaceted. in this respect. Keep in mind, to meet your first question, is people were kind of surprised it wasn't a big blowout in terms of the Republican Party. But I looked at the NBC poll that was taken the weekend of the election. You can't get any closer to Tuesday the 8th than that weekend. And one of the questions which told me at the very beginning of that weekend, Sunday night when I read the poll that had been sent to me, it says, "What is your preference for the outcome of Tuesday's congressional elections?" And you rotated the choices: a Congress controlled by Republicans or a Congress controlled by Democrats. Now that's pretty straight out. That's not, you might say, packaging the decision in a lot of peripheral information. This is direct. Who controls? Well, Republican control on that weekend was 47, Democratic control 48, almost no difference whatsoever. That's among likely voters. Among registered voters, and that's a good way you filter out the registered voters to find out who's most likely to vote, it was 47-47. Now you might say, well, that's interesting, but what about, let's say earlier in October, it was 48-47. I can go back to basically May of 22, earlier this year, and it was 46-46. So our country is deeply polarized. There's nothing wrong with that. Usually that's a precursor to a realignment force of some type. But right now, it is exactly even between the two parties. We've not had that in many, many years, as you know. Usually one party tries to dominate over the other party for extended decades. Well, that doesn't occur anymore. And the idea that South Texas was controlled by a one-party system, those days are over as well. But the red so-called tsunami was basically manufactured by the press and by people that weren't watching the tracking data very carefully. Now, keep in mind, most of the elections that the Republicans lost were in the 51-49 bracket. Very tight elections. I can remember in the past where we won most of those elections, and we were deemed a great hero back in 94 and 2006 and 2010. We won close elections, right, one after another. Well, I looked at the board the other night, and we were losing a lot of races in the House, 51-49, just a few votes in between. That changes sometimes between election and election, but that's something to keep in mind. It was a close race from the beginning. There was hype. We're not sure where it came from, that somehow this would be a big tsunami, but the idea was really historically based. That we've always tried to check the president in his first 2 years in office. It's a historical norm. And so people said, well, knowing that the historical norm has been around 20 seats, 22 seats, and Gallup and everybody was showing the Biden job approval low, they just assumed. It's like they got 1 + 1 = 9. They missed it in that respect. And so the race was always close. What does that mean? That means the turnout was the key. Which party had the best ground game is critical. Democrats seem to vote over about a 30 or 40-day period. We seem to vote on election day only, and that's going to have to change because the Democrats have outfoxed, outorganized the Republicans on the ground with this type of these absentee votes, et cetera. So we lost the close ones. It was always going to be a close election. And just keep in mind, 24 months from now, besides the presidential race, 2/3 of the U.S. Senate is up for election, and they're all Democrats. 2/3 are Democrats. Only 10 seats will be defended by Republicans. 23 will be defended by Democrats. You could see all this going 51-49 the other way just in a few months from now.
All right. Always fascinating, Lance. I could talk to you about 2 hours. You mentioned to me this sort of triangle because you were pretty impressed with the results in Iowa. So if you look at Iowa, come down to Texas, and then you head east on I-10 over to Florida, you say that that's sort of our red zone, it's just the middle of the country. Now, we got the outliers, which is Massachusetts and to some extent Pennsylvania and New York, and then over on the West Coast, you got the what the West Coast does. But talk to us about sort of that triangle that you saw develop.
You're talking about big-time geopolitics here.
I was talking about, and I said Iowa, I meant Ohio.
Yes, but Iowa's become a red state as well. Kind of shock people. It used to be pivotal. Either way, you never knew. Remember, we have the Iowa caucuses, the New Hampshire early primaries, et cetera, used to tell us what's going on. Well, Iowa's become a red state. Ohio's become red. But I think it's fascinating. We have a triangle between those Midwestern states. Remember, that's blue collar, that's middle class, that's the new working class Republican Party beginning to form up there. And then you go down to Texas on the left and Florida on the right in terms of the triangle. And you've got a pretty powerful coalition across the country. Guess what we're up against? The bicoastal, they call it bicoastal liberalism now, that is, the West Coast and the East Coast are totally different than the rest of the country. In fact, I think you've seen some of the maps. Very few blue parts of geography are on the U.S. map today. Mostly it's about 3/4 red. Those are rural counties as well as rural states. But basically, it's going to be a knockout, drag-out fight, I think, in terms of the Congress and in politics in general, between this sort of working class middle of the country, anchored by Texas and Florida, against the bicoastal regions of the country. Bicoastal regions own the media, they own the financial centers, they own a lot of other cultural and international and globalist thinking. So it's going to be a pretty pitched battle, but somewhere in the middle, we should hopefully drive America to a better place.
All right. And so that just talks about the importance of the Latino vote, the Hispanic vote, because when we're talking about the state of Florida and the state of Texas, I think we saw some encouraging data. I'm excited. I think there's plenty of room for us to continue the good work that we're doing, not only in the state of Texas, but hopefully expand that into New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada. Lance, we're out of time. It's always great to have you. Thank you for wrapping up your meeting up in Austin early to come be with us. But at least our donors, our viewers, our supporters deserve this information because it's not all doom and gloom. There's some really good statistics in Texas. I know Andrea and I know that Lance, we're excited about the future. We're going to continue to plow ahead. We're going to continue to drive the conservative message into the Latino community. We're going to continue to encourage young people to launch their candidacies for public office like Larissa Ramirez, and there's plenty of work to do. So, Lance, enjoy the holidays, and we're going to call back up on you in a couple more weeks.
That's fine. One last thing. Keep in mind, politics is local. Politics is built up from the bottom up. And the Republican strategy over the last 30 years was trying to build it from top down. I think they've learned their lesson, and the production that occurred in South Texas shows that we're on the right path now.
Awesome. Thank you, Lance. Godspeed.
Lance, thank you.
All right. Well, another fabulous show, but, Lance is the godfather of political statistics and political data, and we would be lost if it wasn't for Lance. Yeah, he is. So, all right. Well, thank you for tuning in, guys. I'll be with you the next couple of weeks from a foreign state,
Montana,
but a conservative state.
Yes.
I look forward to seeing you guys in a week or so. Say, if you're in League City, Texas, make sure that you tell your neighbors to go out and vote December 6th for Larissa Ramirez, City Council position number 7. Y te puedes despedir.
So hopefully we're going to have the show after the runoff, having Larissa Ramirez here as a winner. So next week is Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes.
Hay muchas cosas por las cuales debemos dar gracias. There's a lot of things that we need to thank and be grateful for that. So we're going to take a break on the show next week, but we're going to come back the following week where the news of Larissa Ramirez, hopefully with a victory. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Thank you so much for all the support all these years and during these crazy midterms elections and the campaigns. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then get ready for Tough Tejano Awards. I think we're going to go to Dallas, Texas. April 4th is Tejano Day in Texas.
Yay.
And then we're going to jump right into the May elections, and then we're going to take a little summer break, and then we're going to go right into the November elections. So there's elections.
It's never a dull moment.
There's never a dull moment at TLC. Thank you. Godspeed. Take care.
And go to TexasLatinoConservatives.com. See you guys in 2 weeks.